This evidence is going to blow your mind. We're in part 2 when we all thought he was guilty because of what the prosecution said. Just wait till you hear the rest of the evidence. Nikki was a sick kid. Not just the day that she passed, but she literally went to the doctors for the first time when she was 8 days old. She's been in and out of doctors and hospital visits almost 50 times in her 2 short years of life. The night she passed away, she had 104.5 degree fever. She had just been to the doctors, vomiting, she had diarrhea. Something the doctors missed though was that she had viral and bacterial pneumonia. She was prescribed medicine that could suppress breathing. Speaking of suppressed breathing, did you know that oxygen loss can cause some of those brain injuries? During the trial, the jurors saw some pictures of Nikki's head. Some of those marks, though, were not just injuries. There was actually a medical device that was used the night she went into the hospital. So some of those injuries weren't actually injuries. The jury wasn't told about that. Even worse, this is going to shock you. Some of the CT scans that weren't showed to the jury were missing for 15 years. They were in the courthouse basement. Roberson's new attorney found them right before his first execution date. Those scans showed the pneumonia. They also showed only 1 head injury and no neck injury. And some of the new expert doctors suggest that at Nikki's size, she was to be shaken by a human, she would probably have a neck injury. Another expert doctor has come out and said, after looking at all of Nikki's medical records and history, probably had a blood clotting disorder called DIC. That disorder can cause bruising, which would mimic the ones on her face. The ER staff said was abuse. Speaking of the ER staff, remember the nurse that did the SA exam on Nikki? She said that she had redness and tears on her behind. That nurse wasn't even certified to do an SA exam. She took the wrong pictures. She didn't wear gloves. And the worst part is she didn't know Nikki's medical history. She came in earlier that day, had diarrhea, was prescribed suppositories. And let's talk about one of the medical examiners that classified it as abuse before getting a toxicology report, before knowing that she was on medicine that suppressed her breathing. Now we could get on to Robert's arrest. Because all of the medical staff assumed that it was abuse, didn't look into her medical history, just assumed the worst, Robert was arrested before an autopsy was even done. And the same judge that granted that arrest warrant, the same judge that granted the maternal grandparents the right to remove Nikki from life support instead of her own father. And that same judge sentenced him to death. Sounds like that's where the judicial misconduct came from. Everything I say is alleged. Remember back at the ER when the staff said that he was kind of flat, didn't have emotion? Came out in 2018, he was diagnosed with being on the autism spectrum. Just Google how some people on the spectrum act in high stress situations. Not only does one of the jurors that was on his trial think that he is not guilty anymore after looking at all of this evidence, but the lead detective believes in his innocence. The lead detective says, we didn't have all the facts. Now we do, and let's not execute him. Robert's girlfriend testified at the trial. She basically claims she thinks that Robert could have done this. But now, her and her sister have come out and said that CPS paid them a visit. Basically threatened them that if they didn't testify to the prosecution, they would get their children taken away. It's fucked up, man. It's crazy that almost every single thing that the prosecution said about this case could be questioned, debunked, debated, yet none of it was heard at the trial 20 plus years ago. No wonder the jury said that he was guilty. There is scientific and medical evidence to prove his innocence, and it should be seen in front of a jury. Now you can share your opinions. Just be nice. Love you, bye. Please don't forget to follow me. I'm trying to get to 7,000 followers before Thanksgiving.